This would be the instructions for the assembly of the OakBay Dollhouse. It's very simple to put together. All the parts are pre-drilled for the screws. You can use a power driver if you have one, or you would require two sizes of Phillips screwdriver, a small one and a medium one. If you start the screws through the holes on the side panels, they will then be easier to line up with the back panel. And when you do this, you don't want to over tighten the screws. It's better to leave them slightly loose. When you take the bottom panel, you'll note there's a hole in it. It's closer to one side than the other. You'd like that facing the front of the dollhouse. And once again, don't tighten the screws right tight. Now you take the first floor, and you'll notice there's 3 holes. 2 of them are to attach the partition to. They're countersunk, and the other one is a little hole for the location of the stairs. There's also on the partition, there's 2 holes there, and you have a small square platform that attaches. That's the landing for the stairs. It has 2 small holes in it. You may find that these holes are not visible. They've been covered with paint, so you just take the tip of a screw and you can find those along the edge, and you start the screws in it. Just get them started, and you can either use a small square, or you can use the partition from the top floor as a right angle, so you get that square. So you don't want the thing to be at an angle and drill the screws through the floor. And you can tighten those ones right tight, and there you have it. This shows these holes you have to locate if they've been covered with paint. And those partitions are approximately 1.25 inches in from either end. And you attach that partition to the floor. On that particular one, the countersunk holes go on the bottom. So once again, take your square or use that partition just to keep that partition up at right angles. You can tighten those screws right up. And that partition sets in there, and the screws go in from either side. Once again, if you just put the screws in so the tip is just protruding through the side, it'll help you line the holes up. If you do that with all of them before you tighten any up, it'll just much easier to get into position. And once again, don't tighten those screws right up. We'll do that as the last thing. Once again, you look for the little holes there. They may have been covered in paint. Say approximately 1.25 inches in from either end. You attach the little landing for the stairs on that one as well. You'll note that this top floor has the yellow edge on it, and front face of it sticks out just slightly past the floor itself. That goes against the front edges of the sides. Okay, now that you have those all in place, you can tighten all those screws on the sides. It'll all be tightened right up. And to assemble the front of it, you have the two balconies, and they're just go together with dowels. Now you can put just a spot of glue on those if you wish, or you can just push them into place and they screwed on from the back side of that front. These are where you use the short screws. And the hinges come attached, so they're just open on one side, so you just drop them in. There's no loose pins to play with. And there you have the front. This, you take the roof and you attach the three dormers using the short screws. There's 3 in each. Once again, you're wise to get all the screws started before you tighten them right up. And that just slips on the same as the front doors do. Now the stairs just slip into place. There's a little dowel and a hole that they just pop into. So you see the stairs come up that way, and then there's very easy. You can, if you wish to glue those, you would do that after wallpapering, should you choose to. If you're going to wallpaper, it's advised to do that before you assemble it. Much easier. If you don't use any glue on any of these parts and you want to wallpaper sometime in the future, you can dismantle the house and do it then. And that partition at the top is optional. You just slide that in. There's no screws or anything to hold that in place. It just sits there. Once again, you could glue it in later if you decide to.